So welcome back everybody, my name is Andrew and you're watching the Kelley's Country Life. If this is your first time visiting the channel, thanks so much for stopping by. We make videos like this weekly. All right everybody, so I apologize, there's been a delay since I made the last internet video, and there's been a reason for that. I've been testing something new, a new router, and a new plan, and I think it's only but fair to y'all that I test this for a little bit, test it through the weekends, good times, bad times, high traffic times, low traffic times, to make for sure that it's gonna work as intended before I make a video and get this out to y'all. So if you're new to this series real quick, I will put links down in the description. You may want to go back and watch some of the first videos here, but long story short, I struggled, stayed on the waiting list forever to get Starlink, wound up not being able to get it in my particular area. So I started looking, I was desperate for internet, needed it, I work from home, and I stumbled across some cellular internet solutions, but not your typical working with a phone or a little hotspot device. This is much more sophisticated equipment, and as y'all have seen in the past videos, I'm getting far greater speeds than I could on any type of hotspot. There's no point in repeating all the last of that stuff. I have had a tremendous amount of views. You, the viewers, reach out. Over 1,000 comments recently. We've got several 100,000 views on these videos, and people are telling me, keep going, thank you so much. We didn't realize this internet solution was out there, just like I didn't, for the people that's out in rural areas. Now, I will go ahead and preface all this by saying you need some sort of cellular signal in your area, even if it's 1 bar on your phone, or you occasionally pick up signal. With the types of equipment that we're using and the outside amplified antennas, this equipment picks up far greater than a cell phone will, but you need some sort of signal to boost. And according to the good old internet, over 90% of Americans have access to some sort of cellular signal, so this should help out a lot of people that don't have DSL or fiber available to their homes, just like we don't. All right, so if y'all watch some of the older videos, I started with this outdoor router. It's a cellular SIM router, so you put a data-only cellular plan in it. It's got built-in Wi-Fi 2.4 and 5G antennas right here on the side, and it can take hookups for external antennas. That's the key. But it also comes with paddle antennas like this, so it can work as is, or you can add antennas. That is the key to everything that we're talking about in this whole series, is getting a device that can run outside amplified antennas. It makes a tremendous difference in speeds, signal strength, etc. So I tested that out, and then I had a guy reach out to me that does cellular internet on the side, and he really helped me with this system a lot. I was actually so impressed with him. He did all that for free, just helping out. He's also in the industry, does this part-time. He said, let me send you one of my routers and one of my cellular plans, because one of the biggest gripes that we had with the outdoor router is it takes data-only SIM plans, which can be a little pricey and can cap how much data that you can use. Now, spoiler alert, I have some huge package. I'm talking up to 1 terabyte data packages coming for this particular router. So if you happen to have a data-only device like this outdoor router, we're going to be doing some testing. We're about to carry a big series out because I've had such an overwhelming demand of people telling me to keep this going. So we have a ton of testing coming. So bear with me on that one. But this guy's name was Michael. He actually, like I said, does this part-time. He said, let me send one of my routers out in one of my unlimited plans. So his plans can work on AT&T or Verizon, depending on which one you go with, so if that carrier is in your area. Now, sadly, the particular SIM plans that he had would not work in the outdoor router. These all have different softwares and hardwares and things like that, so not all routers are created equal. So I accepted his router, and I've been testing it. By the way, I'm getting paid nothing from Michael, just FYI, buying the plan, equipment, all that stuff. So just helping the guy out because he helped me out. And I've been testing this about 3 weeks, and I can tell you, so far, so good. We're about to run downstairs and do a quick speed test. You're going to see that I'm getting similar speeds with this, maybe slightly less than I'm getting with the outdoor router. And my overall experience has been good. So the big kicker is it's an unlimited plan for $70 a month. That's awesome, y'all. Think about that, especially the new Starlink RV plan that a lot of people are going to because they can get it, but this is almost exactly half that price. Now, a lot of people are going to say, hey, cellular is subject to soft caps, hard caps, throttling, things like that. That's exactly right, but if you also look at the fine print on just about any internet out there, you're going to see that you get a lot of that as well. And a lot of y'all have been reaching out to me in the comments that own Starlink, and y'all have been experiencing, especially with the portable Starlink, been experiencing some major slowdowns, throttling, things such as there. Plus they're rolling out caps overseas. So just said all that to say, I don't care what internet provider you go with, there is a chance in times of network congestion you can experience some of that. I personally have not been experiencing that, but it's all going to vary based on your tower, your location, things such as that. And keep in mind, the speeds that you're going to see today and some of the tests that we're going to run, this is off of my local tower based on my congestion, how many people's in my area. But if you're like me, you're really rural, there's not many people around, chances are you don't have much tower congestion. And if you happen to live in a city, well, chances are you have much better internet options available than cellular itself. So I'm going to put Michael's link down in the description. He sells hardware. Basically, he can have it all set up, ready to go with the plan that you choose. And like I said, it's unlimited for $7 a month. I've been running this a little over 3 weeks now. I've experienced no issues. It hasn't been cut off, no problems like that. Now, I personally only use maybe a couple hundred gigs a month. Really, I don't even use that much. I know some households are going to use a whole lot more. And he's assured me that he has customers that run way more than I do, and he's experienced no issues with that. So I will drop his website down there. I do want to say I mentioned Michael in the last video, and he had so many people call out, leave voicemails, reach out to him. He is about 10 to 14 days behind, he's told me. Since he does that part-time, keep in mind he's got a full-time job, he's filling orders and getting back to people as he can, but he kind of got overwhelmed a little bit there, which is a good thing. It's just what you want for a small business like that, and he's getting to people as he can. So I'm just throwing that information out there. One thing I forgot to mention on Michael's router right here, the speeds are very close to what I was seeing with the outdoor router, but I will say the Wi-Fi on this router is nowhere near as good as what's on the outdoor router. So what I've done is I've taken an Ethernet cable here, run over, and now I'm using my outdoor router as my Wi-Fi router because the range on this thing is insane. I'm getting 800 plus feet away from the house. Now, if you go with a smaller router like Michael's right here, you can add an external Wi-Fi router, just like you get from Walmart, Amazon, anywhere else, or you can do Wi-Fi extenders, especially if you're wanting to get outside the home. A lot of y'all have recommended a company called, I think it's Ubiquity. I see that recommended by y'all all the time for Wi-Fi range extension. So you can put the little antennas back on his router right here, just like you see on mine, and allow this to boost Wi-Fi signal in your home, and then you can get another device to boost it, or again, just add a Wi-Fi router. So I wanted to put that out there. The outdoor router has the most amazing Wi-Fi I have personally ever experienced. So something else you can see that I'm doing, I am running a UPS here. This is an uninterruptible power supply. It's got a battery inside here, and it's basically a surge protector as well. And it powers up both of these devices. So anytime I lose power, my internet stays running, and it'll run for quite a while with this smaller battery. I have a huge UPS I'm about to move up here and integrate it in this that would probably run this equipment for a couple of days. So if I'm going on vacation and I still want my security cameras to work, and say a storm knocks power out, you can still run all that. So here's something else I learned. You can see I'm running this device up here. This is a timer, an outlet timer. It has 2 outlets on the side, buttons on top. I'll show you this in a second. You can program this to turn off certain times of day on. A lot of people run those for running lights and stuff on at a house to make it look like your home. I have found with these routers, Wi-Fi router, cellular router, if you'll turn them off and turn them back on, I have this set up to do it every morning before I wake up and even get out of bed, so it doesn't affect me at all. I see a significant speed increase. You'll notice after these pieces of equipment run for quite a while, just like a computer. If you leave it open and running for days and weeks at a time, so eventually the software and hardware quits communicating properly, you start running into some minor issues. I've noticed that with no matter what I've tested thus far. So if you'll get one of these very cheap timers, I'll put it down in the description. I got it on off of Amazon, and set it up to where it turns your equipment off for say 2, 3, or 5 minutes every day, right back on. I'm seeing a huge increase in speed, and it's most likely because everything is rebooted and now it's back communicating properly again. I know some people mention, hey, when I first put in a router at my home, whether it's Wi-Fi, cellular, whatever it is, my speeds are great, and then all of a sudden things slow down or I'm really lagging on the internet. It's probably because you need to do a proper reboot on your equipment, just like you do a computer and anything else. So a viewer mentioned this was an awesome idea. I can say it does work. So here is that little timer. You can see it's got all kinds of buttons to program. It's got an LCD screen on here. This one comes with 2 outlets, and like I said, you can set it up to do a 7-day-a-week schedule, a single-day schedule, whatever you want. It was very easy to program, but having your equipment cycle off and on is something I recommend no matter what kind of equipment you're running. All right, so let's run a quick speed test. I have people constantly asking about latency or ping, so we want to take a quick look at that as well. And as you can see, we're currently in the 30s. Depends on the time of day, but I tend to average in mid to high 30s to usually I'm always around 40. We're heading to that right now. And we'll run upload real quick. So as you can see, the idle latency was 88. Download was 108. Actually, that's one of the better ones I've ever received. So that's not typical. And upload, looks like the ping is 247. All right, so for all the people that were looking for that information, there you go. And now again, that does swing wildly, but this is kind of my average, around 40 megs down. Upload does vary based on time of day as well. A lot of times it's a little lower than this, sometimes it's in the 16s. And again, there is your latency for idle, down, and up for the people that were curious about that. So here we are up at the peak of the roof of my house, and this right here is without a doubt probably one of the more important parts of this system. Now it does need a router that it can connect to, but a good amplified set of external antennas is what makes this entire setup a night and day difference above your typical little hotspot devices or hotspot off of a phone. So this particular set of antennas right here that I have, I personally bought off of Amazon. They're called Waveform. I'll put a link down in the description. And FYI, this is the only thing that I'm showing you today that I'm actually making money on whenever I include Amazon links. I'm an affiliate partner there, and I make a small fraction every time somebody purchases something like this. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. It doesn't cost you a dime extra, but if you use our link, it supports the channel and allows me to keep reinvesting money and buying things like you're seeing, testing this equipment and making content for you. So this set of waveform antennas right here, they are a directional antenna. I've got them somewhat pointed toward the tower. So we've already done some testing of these antennas themselves, trying to aim them, and what the speeds that you're currently seeing, usually in the 40 megabyte a second downrange, is about as best as I can get with my current setup. So again, your results are going to vary based on lots of different factors, from your tower to your location to what's all in the way to receive your signal. So, believe it or not, Waveform actually found one of the first videos I made and reached out to me and gave me some pointers on their antennas themselves. A lot of people recommended I do vertical separation here, and they give me a good long description why they don't personally recommend it with this set of antennas. But a couple of things they did recommend, and some stuff that some of y'all have recommended, is one, proper grounding of the system. That was probably one of the biggest concerns I've seen from a lot of people. Now, while my mast and system is connected to a big metal roof, technically this roof is not grounded anywhere. It's attached to wood structure of the home itself. So we're going to install a ground wire running all the way down to the ground right here, and go in and run a speed test, see if there's any improvement. But regardless, proper grounding of your system is a good thing to do, whether speed or anything increases that as well. And by the way, we're going to be installing an additional set of antennas here coming up in the future when we do some more router and antenna testing. And I'm actually going to put some devices on to allow for surge protecting as well. So I need to go ahead and run a ground wire for that. The second thing that we're about to test right here, believe it or not, I have already tried testing these antennas up and out, although people said the type of mast I used probably wasn't correct, and I agree with them on that. But one thing that the Waveform representative mentioned, and several of y'all have, these getting up above your roof may actually be hurting me, because these antennas can potentially be seeing interference and signals from other cellular antennas, other providers, all kinds of stuff that I have, and things actually coming across this roof. So one thing I want to try today is actually move these antennas down beneath the roof to where I'm kind of getting reflection of the signal from this particular tower that I'm interested in. And the roof may actually help block interference coming from other directions. That's one thing that the Waveform representative wanted me to get across right here. When you're out in an area like mine with lots of vegetation, trees, buildings, whatever that may be, you may find when aiming antennas like this, you might not necessarily get your best signal directly at the tower, because those frequencies, those radio frequencies, could actually be bouncing off of other buildings in or around your property. They could be bouncing off of other towers that are near you. Thick vegetation and trees, those all break up the signal and can reflect them in different ways. So while I'm finding my best signal pointed in the general direction of the tower itself, sometimes you may actually be pointed off from the tower itself, so keep that in mind. So I bought some solid copper wire that's just for grounding, and this one happens to have a white shielding on it, just what I preferred. So if you're interested in this, I'll put it down in the description as well. I bought it off of Amazon like I pretty much do everything else that I have. So here is the antenna mast mount. I think what I'm going to do is rub the paint off of this area right here and attach my wire there with an end, bolt it through, but you want to get the paint itself off. So I'm going to sand that back so you get good connection. And where these bolts are going up to the antenna mast, I have actually already wore the paint off, so that would technically be grounded, as well as these clamps up here. So I have my wire ran all the way down and attached it to the actual antenna mast on a nice clean spot, no paint. I now have the wire ran down to this corner, and I purchased off of Amazon a grounding rod with a clamp up top to where you clamp your wire. And this is actually designed and made for kind of grounding of sensitive electronic equipment. So I'm going to put this over here in a location to where I know the lawnmower is not going to interfere with it, and I have to miss my footer as well as a big amount of concrete that's in the ground over here to where the posts are for our pole barn house. All right, we cover this wire and ground rod up with some of this pine straw. Now I have that wire connected to that ground rod, clamped onto it. So now the real question, did it make any difference? I'm gonna go back inside, boot my router back up, same exact setup you just seen, and we're gonna run another speed test if it made any difference. I'm not really expecting that it will, but we could be surprised. However, a properly grounded system is a good thing, and this needed to be done regardless. So looking like it's going to be similar, although the speed is showing slightly slower this time. That is perfectly normal to see some jump around. Latency is still looking really good as far as download goes. Let's see what the upload is. So still really good upload, at least for me, compared to what I've had in the past. Latency, there you go. If you're a gamer or very curious about that, I don't know if that's a good number, bad number for you. I'm sure that's nowhere near as good as a direct connection like fiber. I bounce between the 30s and 40s quite often, especially with this new router. I have gotten as high as in the 60s, but obviously that's due to network congestion and who all's on. Okay, so you can see what I've done. I've flipped the mast completely over, took the antennas off, put them back on to spin them around, and I'm pointed at the same exact spot that I picked in the trees, but I will play around with this a little, up, down, and side to side to try to find the best speeds. But now you can see what's going on. The antennas are no longer up above this big metal roof that could have been, well, potentially helping it or hurting it. I just don't know what kind of reflection and signal is coming off of it. But now we're kind of down below it, and we're focused in the direction of the tower that I know that I want to be focused on. So this was a popular suggestion. Let's see if this makes any difference on speed. Okay, so let's take a look at the new speed here with the antennas down below the roof. See if there is any difference. So thus far, looking slightly improved. Speeds do swing, so this is very close to normal. Now my upload swing's the wildest of anything that I have. As you can see, a little while ago we were getting 15 up. Now it's down around 1. It does swing big, and I don't know why. My download's really consistent, which is what most people are concerned with. So the majority of the time I do stay in the 10 plus range, and as you can see, our latencies is kind of all over the place for upload too. So I don't know what's going on with upload right now, but download very consistent, ping very consistent. All that looks normal. So one other thing worth mentioning, the two wires that are coming out going to the two separate antennas, if you run a speed test and it looks just really unusual, very slow, I have found that if you swap those antenna leads, I don't know why, you would think they're identical and everything's the same, I see a significant increase in download speed. So once I find that, I'll leave them that way permanently, but when I'm out here messing around with the antenna like this, just for some reason, swapping those antenna leads makes a very big difference. I don't know if any of y'all know the reason why for that, but I'd be very curious because, well, like I said, they look absolutely identical. So I'm going to try to start keeping these videos a little shorter. I'm sure this one's already long, but we're going to try to skip these 30 and 40-minute videos because I have so many coming. But today's video is to test a couple of things, show you the proper way to ground this, and I wanted to show y'all the router and plan that I've been getting from Michael. Again, his website's down in the description. Keep in mind, he's had a lot of people contact him, so he is a little behind right now. And again, I don't get paid nothing from Michael. So for all the people that have watched the original video and are like, hey, that wasn't enough data, well, now there's an unlimited plan. I do have more plans coming, more routers coming. We're about to really dig into this because people are so interested. The setup that I currently have, I'll be honest with you, I've been perfectly pleased with it. I can watch TV, we can stream multiple devices, we can do whatever we want, but we're gonna keep digging into this because people are very interested. So we have more powerful routers coming, more unlimited plans coming. We have huge data only plans. So if you have data only devices, again, some of the plans are up to 1 terabyte. Some don't even hit a soft cap or anything till 500 or 750 megs. So we'll show some of that. And then I'm very curious about what an even better antenna setup, a 4x4 antenna setup, that's 2x2 right there, will do. I already have the antennas and I've got to get a special router in that'll run that. So for the people that are really looking to see what's possible, we're going to test a lot of that stuff as well. All right, well, hopefully this gave you some more information. Hey, there's all kinds of plans out there. I'm learning that. So for the people that are worried about, you know, how much data that you use, I don't really think it's going to be a concern using some of this stuff, but time will tell. Like I said, I've been testing this one for over 3 weeks. I've had 0 issues. So one thing I did want to mention real quick before signing off, I bought an unlimited plan a while back, a data only unlimited off of eBay, and I tested it. And while I was getting excellent speeds, I noticed streaming of video was always very low quality. And sadly, whenever you buy plans off of like eBay or something like that, where there's nobody to talk to, no vendor, no nothing, long story short, what it turns out was happening was they had what's called a stream saver feature turned on to where it automatically drops you to SD quality anytime you're streaming video. So if you buy a plan like that with somebody that you can't communicate with, well, guess what? You're not in control of that plan, even though you're paying a monthly fee for it, and you're at the mercy of whatever features they have turned off or on your plan. So a lot of these vendors that I'm talking with now that offer plans, like Michael, for example, that feature is actually turned off so you can stream in an HD quality. Now, for the people that's wanting to do 4K and all this other stuff, most cellular does not allow that Ultra HD type streaming. However, if you do a quick internet search on how to get 4K, for example, over hotspot or cellular plans, well, you'll see that there's absolutely an option out there. I'm just not putting all that information on this particular video because I think that part is definitely a gray area, but I wanted to mention that. But for example, the plan that I currently have right now, we can stream in HD quality. It's just always going to keep it on the lower HD quality. It's not going to allow me to do 4K and this other stuff, which is of zero concern for me. I don't watch anything in ultra high definition, but I want to let people know that. That's something I'm noticing with these cellular plans, but there absolutely is a workaround with that. Type it in the internet real quick, you'll see what you can do to make that happen. But keep that in mind. If you're buying a plan from somebody that you can't communicate with, you just don't know what you're going to get, and you're at the mercy of the features that they leave turned on in the plan. So everybody that I'm trying to recommend forward now is an actual legitimate business with phone numbers and people that you can talk to and communicate with, people that I have already communicated with. That's the only kind of, you know, that's the only plans I want to mention going forward. So when there's an actual brick and mortar or some sort of business that you can talk to and get your questions answered. Okay, so I'm waiting on more equipment to come in. I've already got some showing up on my doorstep as we speak. I need to get all that stuff installed, test for a few weeks, make sure it's something that I would recommend to you, and we'll continue to get you videos out as we explore and dig deeper into what is truly all available in the cellular internet world. I'm glad that this is helping a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all reached out and said that. It sure enough has helped me work from home and having better internet here, at least until fiber or something else is available sometime in the future. It's just such a blessing to actually get some internet out here. We'll catch y'all in the next video.